Hey, what's going on, people, and welcome to Borderlands 3 Battle of the Weapon Types. Today we're pitting every weapon type against each other to find out which one truly reigns supreme. Do pistols dominate the battlefield, or will shotguns blast their way to victory? There's only one way to find out. We'll take the top 5 weapons from each class and face them off across 5 rounds, starting from the 5th place contenders all the way up to the best each weapon type has to offer. Each gun will be competing for points for their weapon type, with the final round offering double. Whichever weapon type has the most points at the end is declared the winner and takes home this sweet trophy. I know, I'm excited too, so let's kick things off with round 1. Representing assault rifles is the Soul Render. Rend that thing, Leroy. Its peak damage comes from the purple skulls that periodically zip out of its barrel, homing into enemies and hitting with explosive force. If you're looking for splash, then this is your mashed potato. For shotguns we have the Convergence, manufactured by Hyperion. Coming with various numbers of listed projectiles, this weapon summons a dissection of needles whenever its projectiles hit an enemy, causing much more damage than a typical buckshot round. For launchers, the Globetrotter holds firm, a weapon designed to cause carnage. It fires 3 or 6 explosive discs that run across the battlefield, exploding on impact and bouncing around multiple times, with each leap netting another explosion. For pistols, we have the Lucky 7, a weapon that's up all night to deal damage. Reloading this gun will see it apply up to 5 bonuses, or none at all. Get all those bonuses at once though and sustain your magazine, and you will have one of the most damaging weapons in the game. Representing sniper rifles in this round is the Unseen Threat, a weapon for the Jacobs purists. On critical hits it doesn't ricochet 1 projectile but 3, which will often home into the initial target, upping its one-shot potential. Last to line up for the round 1 showdown is the Chaos Sun. Representing SMGs, this gun does it all, firing sticky bombs that explode both on contact with an enemy and a short while later when they detonate. But which weapon type takes home the points? In 6th place we have the Unseen Threat due to its struggle in usability. In 5th place with 2 points is the Globetrotter, which struggles with the same thing. In 4th place we have the Convergence, which couldn't muster the damage to compete with the top 3 due to lack of splash. In 3rd place with 4 points is the Lucky 7, although incredibly powerful when correctly rolled, ain't nobody got time for that. The Calcin grabbed 5 points and fought its contest closely with the Soul Render, which took home the maximum 6 points for round 1. Therefore, at the end of the first round we have sniper rifles trailing and assault rifles out on top, but can they maintain their great start? Representing assault rifles for round 2 is the OPQ system, a gun as sleek as they come. Although locked to non-elemental, it'll fire the occasional shock round, which not only adds some elemental flavour, but explosive power too, perfectly complementing the twin bullets it fires. For shotguns, it's the Face Puncher, not your typical shotgun. This one doesn't fire pellets, but mini boxing gloves, dealing melee damage. It'll fire either 7 or 14, which opens the door for some unique and devastating builds. Following on from the Globetrotter is another COV launcher. This one's the Yellow Cake. It'll fire either 1 or 2 projectiles which fly through the air, splitting into more during flight. Its low shot cost and heavy damage make it well suited to both the bossing and mobbing arenas. For pistols we have the Unkempt Harold, returning from Borderlands 2 and as deadly as ever. It's an explosive hand cannon that fires 7 projectiles per shot, although they're only all revealed after travelling a short distance. It had its damage doubled later in the game's lifecycle after already having enough, so you can imagine how powerful it is now. Another Jacobs weapon represents sniper rifles. This one's the Skull Masher. It doesn't fire just the 1 projectile but 5, and with a featherweight trigger can rapidly unleash high caliber rounds. For SMGs, round 2 sees the Needle Gun, which fires needles that home into your target, with each jab making them weaker. When fully debuffed after 10 stacks, it'll refill your magazine, and it also serves up the most powerful TDO reload effect in the entire game. So how does everything stack up for round 2? Sniper rifles continue to struggle, with the Skull Masher picking up just the single point, as it was found lacking compared to the other weapons of this round. The Face Puncher picks up 2 points for shotguns, proving it is not the Face Puncher of old, but still capable of dishing out damage in the right build. The Yellow Cake picks up 3 points for launchers, with a decent showing. The OPQ system picks up 4 points, largely due to its lack of elemental power. The Needle Gun picks up 5 points for SMGs, with its inability to target criticals holding it back. And that sees the Unkempt Herald and pistols take out the maximum 6 points for this round. After that round, sniper rifles are still trailing behind, with shotguns and launchers locked on 5 points each. But forget about that for now, as there's a 3-way tie out on top, and that's bound to change soon. At the midway point now, and representing assault rifles, is the Blade Fury, a weapon unlike any other. It comes in Masher, Gatling and semi-automatic variants, firing kunais that deal splash damage at no radius, and an extra 50% damage as melee damage. Those 2 damage sources make it incredibly strong in the right builds. For shotguns, we have the Anarchy, the most powerful weapon in the game when it launched. It has a unique stacking mechanic where it will grow in power by 30% each time you move up that stack ladder. You stack it up by defeating enemies or emptying its magazine without reloading. When fully powered up, you'll be riding the gauge cage, and your enemies won't stand a chance. Representing launchers is the Kick Charger, a railgun that penetrates your targets. Charging it up will see it grow in power by 300%, and you can skip that entirely simply by sliding. It has monstrous one-shot potential and treats your ammo with respect. Trying to keep the run going for pistols is the Tizzy, another weapon capable of dealing exceptional damage. Firing this weapon for long enough will see it completely ignore its overheat cap, where its fire rate will grow to phenomenal heights. Every 6 shot will ricochet, and every 12th be amped, dealing 70% increased damage, giving you all you need to melt away those health bars. The Boogeyman slots in for snipers as we move away from their traditional nature. This one is fully automatic, with a high chance not to consume ammo. That helps it extend its use time, but the Moes knows where this fits the best. Round 3 strong contender for SMGs is the Flipper, a weapon that is much more than it first appears. As you hold down the trigger, more projectiles will be added to each shot. It starts at 1 and peaks at 9. Those added projectiles greatly add to its damage, and the splash damage on top is another big bonus. So how are the points shaping up for round 3? Unfortunately for sniper rifles, despite the Boogeyman being fully automatic, sniper rifles still earn a solitary point. The Anarchy nets 2 points, hampered by the hurdle of its stacking mechanic. The Kick Charger grabs 3 points, following in the footsteps of the Yellow Cake. The Blade Fury grabs 4 points due to its incredible performance when built around. The Tizzy grabs 5 points thanks to its incredible bossing potential across all the Vault Hunters, and thanks to its efficiency while mobbing and bossing, the Flipper grabs the maximum 6 points for round 3. So how does the scoreboard look at the midway point? Well, sniper rifles continue to trail with just the 3 points. Shotguns and launchers are now separated by the 1 point, assault rifles drop into 3rd place with 14 points, pistols take 2nd place with 15, and that sees SMGs out on top with 16 big ones. Moving towards the pointy end now, round 4 sees assault rifles represented by the Roland's Call. Only coming in 3 elements, this gun rewards you incredibly well for landing criticals. Not only ricocheting 2 bullets to a nearby enemy, but refilling your magazine by the same amount. For a single projectile weapon, its raw damage is immense. Representing shotguns is the Butcher, a rapid firing weapon. It has a high chance to return ammo to your magazine each time you fire, allowing you to hold that trigger down until everything around you is dead. Speaking of everything around you being dead, the Plague Bearer represents launchers, a weapon that fires a single orb circled by smaller MRV grenades which break off during flight and hunt down surrounding enemies. A secondary wave will also be dispatched when that second orb impacts an enemy or surface, amplifying the power of this mobbing monstrosity. Round 4 sees the light show represent pistols, a Vlad weapon that fires a spiraling array of projectiles that'll cut circles into your enemies. Its high projectile count, damage and fire rate make it a strong weapon across all the Vault Hunters. The complex route attempts to change the luck for sniper rifles, firing twin bursts of energy beams that let out a flurry of explosions both along the flight path and at the impact point. The sheer volume of explosions it summons enables it to deal damage unlike anything else. Round 4 sees the plasma coil represent SMGs, an incredibly damaging weapon that fires a volley of 16 hard-hitting splash damage projectiles whenever you pull the trigger. You can cut its volley size down a little by letting go of the trigger earlier, because as we all know, 16 rounds is more than enough for this gun. So how do these weapons play for round 4? With the single point this time around is the Butcher, let down by the inability to see exactly what you're aiming at. It fought its battle closely however with the Roman's Call, which netted 2 points for assault rifles. With 3 points is the Plague Bearer, continuing the trend of the past 2 rounds. Netting 4 points was the Complex Route. Its incredible synergy with the Razor's Aim just couldn't be ignored. The Light Show however grabs 5 points thanks to its ability to slot into practically every build. That wasn't enough though to beat the Plasma Coil, one of the most overpowered weapons in Borderlands history, which took home the maximum 6 points. After round 4 with 1 round to go, we have sniper rifles sitting on 7 points and shotguns just barely in front on 8. With a little bit of breathing room, we have launchers sitting on 11 points and assault rifles move up to 16. However, there's a tight contest at the top with 1 round to go, pistols on 20 points and SMGs on 22. There's a lot to play for in the final round with double points on offer. Hunting down those double points for assault rifles is the Monarch, a weapon that fires an absurd amount of projectiles incredibly quickly. It'll fire either 4 or 8 projectiles at a rapid rate that tear through health bars. Pulling its bipod out will hamper your movement speed, but double its damage, making it even deadlier. For shotguns we have the Hellwalker, a blazing double-barreled weapon. It deals heavy damage per shot, especially if you land criticals, and it's one of the easiest weapons in the game to obtain. For the final round, representing launchers is the Backburner, a weapon that fires a single orb which on impact brings down a flurry of smaller orbs. These secondary projectiles deal the brunt of its damage, and it fires at a nice fully automatic pace. Representing pistols is the Free Radical, the game's #1 Maliwan blaster. It deals incredible amounts of splash shock damage per shot and also summons a regular projectile on contact that'll circle round for another hit. For sniper rifles in the final round sees the Sandhawk take its place. It fires 7 projectiles per shot at a potentially rapid, fully automatic pace. Those projectiles hit like a truck and it can flatten enemies with ease. Representing SMGs in this final round is the Crit. This weapon isn't a legendary, but it deals legendary amounts of damage. It comes with an incredible boost to critical hit damage, sitting at 150%. Land those and keep a tight grip, and it will zap your enemies to dust, healing you as it does so. So with all weapons laid out for the final round, who will be maximizing these double points? In last place with 2 points is the Hellwalker, which just doesn't have enough to compete with the others. In 5th place with 4 points is the Backburner, which fought its contest closely with another bossing beast in the Sandhawk, which just edged it to take home 6 points. In 3rd place is the Monarch, grabbing 8 points, running off a great effort from assault rifles. In 2nd place is SMGs with the Terminal Crit taking home 10 points, which left the Free Radical to take home the maximum 12 points from the final and double points round. So completing the battle of the weapon types, we have shotguns surprisingly taking the wooden spoon. sniper rifles and launchers within touching distance, taking 5th and 4th place respectively. The bronze medal goes to assault rifles with a good showing from them, but look what we have here, SMGs and pistols are tied on 32 points. They can't share the trophy, so it looks like we're headed for a tiebreaker round. And this is how it's gonna work. To avoid another tie and to get a fair result, we're turning it up to 11. With the 11 best pistols and 11 best SMGs will fight off in a series of 1v1 battles, think Nuketown quickscopes, to gain a point for their team. At the end of the tiebreaker round, we'll add the points together and find out once and for all what is the best weapon type in Borderlands 3. The first showdown sees the prompt critical against the redistributor, with the redistributor taking home the point thanks in part to its synergy with Zane. The next showdown sees the Hornet up against the DNA, one locked to corrosive and the other firing everything except radioactive laser beams. And the point goes to the Cutsman V2. Moving on, and we've got the multi-tab up against the SF Force, with the SF Force, thanks to its elements, just edges in front. Next, the Hellshock battles the Torrent, two weapons that love to lay down the bullets. However, one does it better and comes in more of the elements, so the Torrent gains the point for SMGs. In 7th slot, we see the Gargoyle up against the Kibes Worth, two guns that both deal splash damage. Although the Gargoyle is locked to corrosive, it has enough to take home the point. The next showdown sees the Beacon up against the Embers Purge. The latter spawns magma puddles at the feet of your enemies, and the former releases Novids on reload. Both great guns, but the Beacon gains the point. Moving into familiar territory, the Lucky 7 goes up against the Calcin, and the Calcin takes the point for SMGs again. The next showdown sees the Unkempt Herald against the Needle Gun, and with the Unkempt Herald dealing splash damage and able to reliably hit criticals, it takes the point. In 3rd slot, the Tizzy goes up against the Flipper, and despite its bossing potential, the Tizzy is no match for the Flipper here. In 2nd place, the Light Show goes up against the Plasma Coil, with the Plasma Coil's raw damage unable to be ignored, gifting the point to SMGs. For the final point, the Free Radical goes up against the Terminal Crit, with the Free Radical with its incredible explosive power and unslipperiness grabs the point for pistols. After the tiebreaker round, pistols net 4 points and SMGs net 7, leaving SMGs as the undisputed best weapon type in Borderlands 3, taking home that sweet trophy. Did they deserve it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.